Hello, all of you Vainglorious, wonderful people, and welcome to the Planet Coaster 1.4 Anniversary Update. It's hard to believe this game has been out for an entire year, and some of you have been playing it even longer than that. I was sadly not a part of the alpha or the beta. I did not get the game until December of last year, but I have it. I've been playing for almost a year, and oh my gosh, this Anniversary Update is huge, 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 huge. A lot to cover, so I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to cover everything in the order that they're in the patch notes. I'm not going to hit every little detail, but we'll hit some of the big stuff. So let's take a look at what's what. So under shops and facilities, we have a new category of staff management, and for that, we have the staff building where staff can go to relax, rest, get their energy back, and they can even be trained up and all kinds of crazy stuff. I already have a few placed. This is one of the blueprints that came with the game, and it includes a staff building. I tend to always go with this generic blue Planet Coaster theme every time we do one of these update videos, but if we go into park management and we go into staff, first of all, you can see, whoa, staff has a whole lot of new stuff here. Let's go into all staff, and you can see not only their happiness, but now their new energy that they have, because that is something that you now have to take care of with the staff. You can see that this guy is heading to the staff building, which means most likely the shop he was in is unstaffed. Yes, there is a be back soon sign on there. I have hired a couple people, and we'll get to that. We'll get to it. But yeah, the staff buildings themselves, though, check these out. Let me see if I can even remember where they are. Here they are, under staff. It makes sense. So on one of my staff buildings, this one way over here, I've already done some upgrades on it. This one's way back here. You can hear something else we'll take a look at in a minute. And for this staff building, I have assigned a staff PR course. You have multiple choices. And I've given it the capacity of 10. We can bump the capacity of this one up to 10 as well. And then you have all these different perks that they get. So let's say that you want them to be better entertainers. Wait, there we go. Staff will be more resilient against being overworked. Well, we don't have that problem. Against underworked. Social club, the gain happiness faster. Let's go for that one. And then, of course, you have to pay for these upgrades. So that is now upgraded. And look how much it costs to run now. Ouch. But it does also let you pop this down and show you who's resting. On the new staff tab, as well as here, you can see the staff's most recent thoughts, which I think is really awesome. So you don't have to go into the building anymore. You can just, boom, right in. I can't work anymore. I need to rest. Awesome. Well, that's what he's doing. He's also probably about to quit, which, speaking of quitting, just a minute ago, I had a mechanic who was very unhappy. This guy, but he seems to still be working. I haven't done any upgrades or anything like that. Yeah, he thinks he really should quit his job, but he's getting the PR course, which makes him better at interacting with guests. I didn't know that they really interacted with guests, but yeah, you can see he's definitely unhappy here, and he's gonna quit any minute, but we'll come back to that. We're going to skip the scenario editor for now. The underpaid staff will go on strike. I haven't had it happen yet. I haven't given anybody a raise, but I haven't had anybody really complain about their pay. So let's find one of these guys. Let's give him $2 and see if he goes on strike. Yep, there we go. He is now on strike. That did not take long. Where is he? Here he is. He's on strike. I can't really tell what that means in his case, other than the fact he's probably not going to do any work. He still looks just as happy as he ever was, but I bet he's not going to do any work whatsoever. So yeah, he's now on strike, and that was surprisingly anticlimactic. But we do have a lot of really cool new stats for all of our staff. So let's go ahead and give him some training and go back in and give him his money back. I don't remember how much they were all making, so we're going to go in here with the staffing. Of course, we know that we just looked at the shops having the Be Back Soon signs. We're trying to find, there we go, Cosmic Cow does not currently have a staff member. And you can see you get notifications if they have been empty for a while. And we look at the back of it. Awesome. There it is. Okay, so Chief Beef has been empty for a while, but earlier, and I don't know if it's still the case, yeah, Looney Balloons has been without a vendor for a long time, so you will get the red ones as well. Thanks for entertaining that guy. I do have a couple of extra staff people, but only 2. I've only hired 2. What I think might be the best bet with these, and I don't even know that this is the case, is just like, oh, I thought I could make these free roaming. I guess if you hire, because like if you look down here, I've got a couple that are free roaming, but these guys are assigned to theirs. But you can go in now and you can hire vendors. So we'll get a few. Well, I've got 2 extra right now. How many shops do I currently have closed? It'll tell you if your shops are staffed or not. 1, 2, 3. So I just hired 4, so that should give me enough now to take care of that problem. Hopefully, once they get there anyway. And then, yeah, we've already got 1 that's in there. Don't know if it's because the original staff member got back or what, but they'll go rest and do their thing now. Didn't need to pause there. And we'll get that taken care of. So, moving on. Staff rehire. Again, I haven't had one quit on me yet. I think you can only rehire the ones who have quit, not the ones who have been fired. So I'm not going to mess with it. If we get one that quits, I do have a few that are pretty unhappy, which is I've intentionally been leaving them, you know, just completely underpaid and hoping that eventually I'll get somebody unhappy enough that they'll quit. But it seems like they keep getting their happiness back just in time. So, I don't know. We shall see what happens with that. Okay, speaking of shops, many of the shops now have new extras. Don't click on the shop. There we go. Wow, that really was easy to click on the shop. So we have, we do have new extras. Cool. And as you can see, marshmallows will make the guests happier, more energetic, less hungry, but they'll be thirstier and more nauseous. And you can see each of the extras have those type of things associated with it. So you can get cinnamon, but that'll make you happier, but thirstier, because cinnamon, same with the caramel shot, cream, milk, and all that. And it's just really cool that we have a bit more diversity now in what we can offer in our shops. It's also a lot easier to click directly on the shops, even when they're in the building. I've noticed that has been a cool thing. From what I understand, the extras do cause the shop to have a higher monthly running cost, but I don't know. I haven't really tested that yet. As you can see, since I'm in Sandbox, I don't really care how much money we're spending. All right, and one of the really big ones, the new picnic tables with, of course, their awnings. They are separate. This particular one is one that can have either an image or a movie playing on it. You can see I've got that one set for image, that one set for movie, that one just has the Planet Coaster on it. These, no movie, just colorable. And then the picnic tables themselves. There are tons of these. Tons and tons and tons and tons of them. And they're here under the Path Extras, which you can see all the different picnic tables. All kinds of cool themes, spooky, Western. Not going to place them all down. You can go in and take a look at them for yourself. Oh, I do love that canopy, though. That pirate canopy is awesome. Can't wait to use it in my park. But yeah, all kinds of really cool, exciting things. So, yeah, cool stuff. Oh, and speaking of the picnic tables, the guests will prefer, this part of the park, when I first built this, was really popular, and these were just constantly packed. Don't know what's changed. It took me about an hour to get this all thrown together, and in that time, they've kind of stopped coming back here. But they were coming to the shops and then coming over here and having a sit down with their food. Some guests will leave their trash on the tables and the janitor has to come clean it up. Some guests will pick up their garbage and throw it away for you. So it's kind of cool. They will be attracted to food and drink shops once they sit, though. So if you have a picnic table near a shop and they're just sitting to rest, they will be attracted to go spend some money on food and drink. So kind of a cool thing. One of the really cool things that we have is actual advertising. Now, I'm not 100% sure what this is really doing, if they're adding more appeal or what, but we now have sign and information booth advertising. So I clicked on this sign that's here on the side of this bathroom, and you can see not currently connected to anything. You can select a ride, and boom, it's now advertising that ride. Again, what that really does, I don't know. We'll just have to see once some people smarter than me figured out. But like over here on my information booth sign, I have advertised that everything, or on that sign I have advertised everything. Like everything in the park is advertised. And apparently you can do the same with information booth, but I haven't quite figured out how to do that. It says in the patch notes that link signs or the information booth to your rides and shops, but I don't see how to link the information booth to a shop. So I don't know, maybe I'm overlooking something here. Maybe I have to go in the building and edit it. Edit building with select part. No, that just lets me edit the building. So yeah, I can see how I can do the signs, but I'm really not sure how to link the actual information booth yet. So whatever. I think one of the most exciting things that they announced for this update was the ability to select the train that spawns. So you can now change the cars on tracked rides and coasters. So our tracked rides, like we have over there in the distance, as well as our coasters, you can come in here and actually choose the different type of cars that will work with that track, which is really, really cool, honestly. You might get some audio problems, as the patch notes saying. You might get some clipping issues now and then from doing this, but at least it allows you to have way more customization with your coasters. And of course, with the different car types, you can see not every single car type is available here. That's because it still has to work with the existing track restrictions, which we'll get to track restrictions in just a minute because, well, there is now something that cannot be changed with that. Up next is there has been a slight change to our triggering system for both coasters as well as the object trigger thingy, but bobber, I forget what it's called. Basically, it is now set to where the duration of the triggered effect is now part of the triggered source. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I think it's this right here. I don't remember that being around. Deactivate on trigger, activate on trigger, which I'm happy about this. Play, activate, and deactivate. So you can turn lights on and off. You can turn other things on and off as the trigger comes up. It gives you a lot more flexibility in creating your triggered scenes. And you can also now have multiple effects that play on different intervals, all that are timed to a trigger. And we also have triggerable objects that are going to be a lot better to use now. So I'm really happy to see this. I'm not the best at creating triggered scenes, but, you know, I've thrown that in there so that every time this goes by, they see the DeLorean off to the side. They probably can't even see it. This thing breaks down a lot, by the way. So moving on. If you checked out the Planet Coaster live stream from last week, you saw that toilet blocks now have a cleanliness meter. It hasn't become an issue in my park yet. I have 4 janitors. They seem to be able to keep up with the 4 toilet blocks that I have scattered out through the park. But if the meter gets too low, it starts emitting a green cloud of noxious gases that does affect your guests. It will make them nauseous and they will get sick. And the reason that I've thrown in these 2 boom boats that are absolutely identical is because now, in addition to coasters, trek rides can be dueling. So I have these 2 guys set to be dueling, and you can see they do leave the station at the same time. So we now have a log flume that is a dueling ride. Who's going to win? I don't know. Probably be a tie, honestly. I haven't really been keeping up with it. I just put it in so you could see that you can make a coaster chain. Same limits as normal coaster chains, which is what, up to 5 rides that can be in there. So I think that's really awesome that we can now make chains out of our tracked rides as well. So earlier I was talking about how if you change the cars for a roller coaster, they will only allow you to have ones that work with those current track restrictions. Well, you can disable track limits, which gives the option to loosen the track restrictions on coasters, but cars that are not designed to invert, if you send them on an inverting coaster, will cause a massive spike in nausea. It still doesn't give you any extras that I've been able to see. So I'm not really 100% certain where you make that change, but it's still kind of a cool feature that allows you to get a new car into, oh, this is broken down again, into your ride, and also to disable, you know, the track limits that you've had before as far as, you know, how far different things can go, and with their banking and their turning and all of that good stuff, all those limits are gone if you enable track limits or disable track limits. And of course, while we're in here, you can see that we also now have staff management features that allows you to enable or disable that. Staff happiness, we've always had those. The ride, or the toilet cleanliness, and changeable cars for the coasters are all added into the game tab. And by the way, if you have a coaster that has the name of the ride on the side, I thought it would work here with American Aero, but it didn't. I thought this would totally work. That's why I put this one down. But you now have the option to have custom text on the chassis. So the text colors inherit from the cars, and there is an option to disable the text if desired, but yeah, I haven't been able to figure out where that is. I would assume it'll all be in customized. I haven't gone through all the coasters, and frankly, since I have to work in just a few hours, I don't have the time to really look and find them all. But there is an option now to change the text somewhat on coasters that have names on them, but I'll have to do some more investigation to find out how that really works. And we have new autumn trees. How awesome are these? So if you're wanting to create a nice, lovely autumn theme to your park, you can now do so. I really wish the game had the ability to have seasons, like some other simulation games do, so that the leaves would actually change colors. But there is a good selection of trees here, so we should be able to match a lot of the tree types that we have already with some really cool autumn trees. Also new is something very helpful, and I've actually put them into use over here in this bathroom block because of the way my path is actually going through part of the building. These new curbs allow me to keep the guests from walking through these walls. No more do we have to bury a big planter underground in hopes to stop people. We can just place curbs, which there are several to choose from, and they are recolorable. But there's a 2 meter, a 1 meter, a 2 meter, and a 4 meter, and then the same with the roped barriers. And I think these will look really cool on queue lines as well, just as good props. And they guests will try to not go through them. You can see they will try to go around. Look at this. Let's just keep trapping this poor guy. Oh, didn't get him. He got by. There, guests will try to go around them, but I don't want to annoy my guests, so we'll get rid of those. By the way, if you're wanting to find those new curbs, they are under the new fences category. And then under miscellaneous, we have 2 new items. We have the Frontier Expo coins, 1 and 2. Not recoverable, nothing else, but they're kind of cool. You can put them in a path, I bet. And I don't think guests walk around them, so you can just like embed them into a path and make it look really cool. I guess people who went to Frontier Expo got these coins. I don't really know. I wasn't there because it's on a different continent. There are a ton of UI and audio and gameplay changes, and I'm not going to detail every single one of them. But one of my favorite is that guests now react to spooky props, both while they're walking around and if they're on a ride. You can see this guy's now within the radius, so he's like, oh my god, it's scary. So they will react to spooky stuff when they're on rides and just walking around, which is so very cool. All right. Let's get into the really big changes here. New rides, and then we're going to look at some cool new stuff with the biomes, and then we'll wrap it up. So, first up for our new rides is the Weisshorn? I don't really know how to say it, but it's the ride that everybody has seen. It has the really cool covered canopy that when it comes around, I thought it was running, but it's not. Very, very themed. It has an old classic, like, carnival-style canopy over it. Beautiful. I love the control booth and the lighting that's happening there. I think it's just an absolutely beautiful ride. It seems to be fairly popular. There's always been a line. It's also the first ride you encounter when you come into the park. But it just takes people around, up and down, and then eventually a canopy comes out that makes you feel all claustrophobic. We'll speed it up till that canopy pops out here. I know it eventually pops up. There we go. So now you're in there, all closed off from everybody. Can't see what's going on. I don't really understand the purpose of the canopy, honestly, but, you know, whatever. Seems like it'd be more of a fun ride if everything was left out. But that is the Weisshorn, whatever horn. And then very, very, very similar, based on community feedback, Frontier has released the Monte Leone, which is basically the same ride, but without all of this theming and a much smaller control booth. You can see still the same basic cars, still has the same basic customization options. It's just it doesn't have all the theming so that you can create your own ride skin and make it your own unique experience. But otherwise, mechanically, exactly the same. I think they even have the same ratings. I think, let's see. Yeah, same rating if you leave them in the default state. So, really cool new flat rides. And then we have the Cascade, of which they included a blueprint called the Acropolis, which I think looks fantastic. Very light theming, but it works really well. Just a little bit of Roman architecture in the back and over here in the front. And this is the new water coaster. So it's a mixture of a floating boat style ride that has some roller coaster elements to it as well. I've never been on such a ride. Honestly, I didn't even know such a ride existed until I saw it announced in Planet Coaster. I mean, I've been to a ton of theme parks in my lifetime, and I've never seen one of these, so I don't know where these are in use. If you've been to one and you know one, let me know. I'd love to check out like videos of real ones to get some inspiration for how I can use these in my park. I'm thinking that in the park that we're currently taking a break from, I may replace a ride in the pirate area with one of these. I think it might serve us a little bit better to tell a story and add some excitement in that area that we need. But it's really cool because it's a roller coaster and it's a water ride. I'm waiting for it to get back into the water section here before I trigger away from it. The lift hill. I guess we didn't have enough speed. Yeah, we didn't have enough speed. So we're going to come around. I think there's more water coming up. I think. Pretty sure there is. Yes. So look at that. That is so cool. And now it's a boat ride again. I think that's awesome. It really, really is. And I love how it has the belt mechanism at the end instead of a lift chain. Just such a cool ride. And that brings us to Hop the Gaps, which I did a terrible job at creating the coaster. There's some really interesting limitations on this one. You cannot bank the curves more than 10 or the corners more than 10 degrees. You cannot do an incline higher or decline even either way more than 25 degrees. But yet you can make a 90-degree bend in the track. So I definitely want to work a little bit more on this one to get a better idea. But you can see this is a side friction coaster. The wheels that are coming into contact are on that are keeping you in and everything are here on the side instead of just the bottom. So you bounce around a lot. It's kind of a bumpy ride that you go on here. But, you know, if you like good old rickety wooden roller coasters, this could be the ride for you. I've just got to do some more work with it to see exactly how to get this ride to be exciting enough that guests really want to ride it, but keeping it within the spirit of how this ride was originally built. Definitely an old woody roller coaster, but I think it's kind of cool. Not as rickety as I would have expected, but it does still bounce around quite a bit within there. And I think you could probably do some even more bumps and jumps and things like that with some more design than I had time to really put into it. But I made it just a quick little coaster. And finally, we have the Zenith, for which we have a blueprint called Altitude. This is a launch coaster, and they say it's a master class in roller coaster engineering. This thing can get up to 175 miles an hour. Has this massive top hat feature that can feature spirals coming up and down from either side. Look at the excitement this thing gets. It's just unreal. And we're going to ride this because, yes, I want to go 175 miles an hour. Don't you? Let's check it out. Let's get loaded up here. There we go. Slow down time again. And let's go. Yeah, that was actually kind of cool, but poorly timed. Okay, here we go. Wow, look at it go. Yeah, that's kind of awesome. So we're going to do a spiral up to our top hat. Go up, right over the top hat. Spiral back around. Very cool. Very cool indeed. And then we've just got some ups and downs bits back here in the back. And then we're done, basically. Like that they've got the braking to slow it down before the curve. So there you go. That's altitude for the Zenith. So out here at the main menu, we now have a new scenario editor button. And man, that's quick right in there. So let's, since it's coming up on the holidays, let's just call it humbug. There we go. You can already sense the theme. And so it loads like a park here. Ta-da! Scenario, Chris. There you go. If you want to read that, you can. So we now have our ability to add objectives. Choose objective type. We want to get our guest happiness to let's say for easy, we're gonna go 70%, and we want to have a minimum guest of 500 at that happiness. There we go. So that's our easy, with at least 500 guests in the park. Our medium objective shall be to... Oh, that's right. I have to go here to change that. Medium objective... Oh, wait. Can I do a second? I can. Oh, my gosh. Didn't know I could do that. So let's say that... we also have to build 3 rides and exclude some coasters. There we go. Build 3 rides. Ooh, but wait, I want to edit this because I want to do this by a deadline? Wait. Yes, I want to be able to do this within the first 9 months of the park being open. While operating for 9 months. So I have to do that in the first 9 months. I think that's kind of what I just told it to do. And then we give it a medium objective, which we're just going to choose just some stuff here. We're going to say build a coaster, and we're going to say that it has to be maximum fear of, sure, that's good, and deadline of March of year 5. That sounds good to me. So there we go. And then we'll add our hard objective, which will be, because again, guest count, we want everybody to be happy here. We're going to say that they have to be 90% happiness. Actually, yeah, 90% happiness. There we go. And it has to be done. Whoops, nope, that's not what I wanted. It has to be done by year 10. That we attract 2,000 guests that are at least 90% happy, and before the end, before then end, typo, before the end. So that's there, and you can go in to edit your spawn points. I mean, if you want to see all the detail of everything you can do, you know what? Go for it in the Planet Coaster live stream from last Wednesday. So that would have been the 17th, no, 15th. So you can go watch all that. They went into the scenario editor in a lot of great detail that I'm not going to. But you can add your own new spawn points, which is really cool. You can change the dimensions of your park. All kinds of really great stuff. And now I don't know how to get back into my editor menu. There it is up there. So finances, you can choose whether or not you have loans out. Short loans, long loans, miscellaneous loans. You can go into research, make these really cool research trees. So like we can add this stuff over to here. I forget how to add it over here. There we go. But then I can select all 3 of these. I want to select all 3 of these and make it a tree. So you'll do Gulpy first, then Pip Shot, then Cosmic Cow in the research for that, which is kind of cool. And then you can also say, you know, what's not available, what is available, and just go from there. And it's really cool. Same for marketing. You can choose what's allowed, how many marketing campaigns or you can just turn marketing off altogether. Staff, you can go in here to choose whether or not they're going to have that. You can choose whether or not they can toggle the staff features, and then whether or not they're on. General settings is, let's say that they don't really want to work. Yeah. And then you can go in and say, you know, these guys are, you know, not entitled, require more money to keep them happy. Janitors, we're going to say they're lazy. Our vendors are going to be energetic. And then our mechanics, they're going to be passionate about their jobs. And our security guards are going to be, yeah, they're not going to be able to see as much. And then our guests, and here you go, guest happiness rate, at which it declines. So you can, oh man, look at that. How high can we go here? I don't even know how high this could go. But you can do that, and then you can kill your multiplier. And then you can see all your different spawn rates that people will get, which is amazing that you've got all of these. I mean, just look at all that. You can pause the video and look at it if you want. Presets, we'll give them that medium. Don't know what that means. We'll have to figure it out. And then, of course, you can turn crime on and off. You can choose whether or not people can turn the security features on or off. So if you turn that on, that turns that off. Vandalism, spawn chance, all that good stuff. And then your thresholds and everything. And then once you're done, I'm assuming that you're good to go here. Remove all clutter. Yeah, we want to remove all clutter. We want to allow the player to add it at the park capacity. No, we want to leave it alone. Because 2,000 is what they have to get. So yeah, and I guess once you're done, here's how we have to figure out how to save this guy. I'm guessing just save it. New park save. Oh, save scenario and play. So it's going to save it, and then it's going to load us up to where we can do our own scenario, which I did not go, like I said, into very much detail at all on that. A player-created scenario, because I'd never even bothered writing in anything other than that. So, you know, Bah Humbug is going to have unhappy guests coming in because I made the guest happiness decline really, really fast. But we're not actually going to play it. We're going to go back to the park we were looking at just a minute ago. And there you go. A very high-level overview of the 1.4 anniversary update. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to Frontier Developments and everybody on the Planet Coaster team. This is amazing. And it's free. You didn't have to pay a dime for this update. They just gave it to us. Everybody's been worried, oh my gosh, with the spooky pack, they're only going to go to paid DLC. No, of course not. And look at what we got for our 1-year anniversary with Planet Coaster. I can't wait to see what they do for anniversary number 2. But until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.